Hello. So for my disability simulation, I was given right-sided hemianopsia with decreased cognition and short-term memory loss. I already have cerebral palsy in real life, so I did not take the straight cane that usually goes with this because it would have been too much to have that whole accumulation of disabilities and probably not safe for me to do so. So I only had the glasses part and assumed the cognitive disability and short-term memory as well, part of it. So I learned a lot from this experience. I learned about being a blind person and having hemianopsia. It was difficult to move and focus on the tasks in the community at home. I learned that when I was home, I was having difficulty moving around. I was having difficulty cooking, seeing things. Making breakfast was difficult because I had to get the cereal out and I spilled milk on the counter when I was trying to do that. I feel as though I learned a lot about, I was bumping into things in the community, and that was difficult for me because of my decreased vision, and because I had short term memory, I didn't know where I was going. So that combination made it difficult to move around. I thought that when I was talking to my friend Miranda when I was cooking the dinner at home, she was on my right side, and I literally, it felt like I was talking to a ghost or someone who wasn't there, because although I could hear her voice, I could not see her from my right side. So I was like, I feel like I'm talking to myself, but I wasn't. So I feel as though that would be disorienting for a person with this condition. So as a OT someday, if I have someone with this condition, I will definitely stand on their left side to make them feel so comfortable and not make them feel like they're talking to someone who's not there. I feel as though this experience will help me be a better clinician by knowing where to stand and talk to them and how to communicate with them. There were psychosocial aspects of this assignment that stood out to me the most. So I got frustrated when I assumed the disability. I had to keep repeating myself to friends when they were talking, and it was difficult to carry on a conversation. It was frustrating for me to not be able to open doors in the community. I was having difficulty with that. I was having difficulty not bumping into things and picking out stuff from the grocery store to buy. I was having difficulty seeing everything. It was psychosocially just frustrating. Like, I normally don't get that frustrated in real life, but here I can understand where they might have some emotional issues with this disability because it can make life harder. I experienced empathy and sympathy during my disability simulation. So when I was at the grocery store, I was stared at by people, and they were rude, and they were just looking at me like, why is she wearing those glasses? Why is she walking like that? I was walking in protective extension to prevent myself from falling. So I really feel for people who have this condition, and I would really I sympathize with them. I feel for them. Oh my gosh, it would be a difficult thing to have. And I have empathy for them because I'm like, if I do have a patient who gets frustrated, I will definitely understand where that frustration came from, since it happened to me. I was angry on the inside about this condition in a way. I was just like, I can't believe I can't do the things I did beforehand. And it is an interesting perspective because you think you're not going to react that way on the inside, but then you do. And it also decreased my self-esteem when I saw people looking at me strange in the grocery store. And even though I knew that I was going to unassume this disability, it really kind of did jab my self-confidence, because I was like, oh my gosh, people are looking at me. Why are they doing that? What did I do wrong? Even though I didn't do anything wrong. And neither do people with this disability. It's just people being rude, that you have to separate yourself from it in a way, separate yourself from the negativity. So the most challenging thing during this disability simulation was cooking. I burnt the Alfredo sauce when I was making Alfredo sauce for my meal. Because I was experiencing right side neglect. I had it on the right burner, like the pan on the right burner, and I couldn't see it, and I just simply forgot it was there. And then I smelled this burning smell, and I looked, and I'm like, oh my gosh, the Alfredo sauce, it was burning. So I definitely found just cooking the whole meal to be difficult, knowing where my hands were, seeing the utensils, the baking sheets, etc. I just didn't know it was going to affect me like that, and it was an interesting thing to have happen. So when I went out to the community, it was difficult to see where I was walking. I had difficulty opening doors because most of the door handles are on the right side of the door. And I had difficulty with vision because I couldn't see my right hand reaching for the doorknob, so I had to turn my head to the right to open the door. I had decreased depth perception, so when I opened the door, I kind of physically went like this, like I was shocked that something was coming toward me, which was really interesting to see that this way that I was in the community, like a task as simple as opening a door was very difficult. When training with functional mobility, because I was bumping into things, I would recommend to someone with this disability to stay close to walls when they were grocery shopping or other places in the community, and maybe hold the wall when they could so that it would prevent falls when they could literally have something to hold on to, because it's very disorienting when you're blind like that. I would also say that I would recommend the walking stick for blind people so that they don't trip over anything. I think that would have been useful to have during this activity. So when I was making the meal, I made Alfredo sauce, I made pasta, I made chicken tenders, I made brownies as well. And I crushed the egg when I was trying to make the brownies, which wasn't good. The first egg was just crushed because I couldn't see it very well. And I had the short-term memory, so I forgot that I was crushing the egg. So then the second egg comes around, and I got that into the mixing bowl and mixed it. But it was very difficult to open the oven to put the chicken tenders in and the pine nuts. And it was difficult to put the brownies in and difficult to cook the pasta. And I burnt the Alfredo sauce. So the meal preparation, making the meal, was challenging for sure. So I wanted to say that I had the theory of the human model of occupation, MOHO, model of human occupation. So with this, it includes volition, which is motivation, habituation, habits, roles, and patterns, and performance. And the cognitive disability model is different because it is a tool to help caregivers identify a person's cognitive function and functional cognition. So basically, the Allen Cognitive Disabilities Model is a tool to say, this is how disabled they are with their cognition, and then look at their performance to help them. Whereas the model of human occupations, like, let's look at what they like to do, let's look at their habits, and they are just different models when it comes to that. Model of human occupations more looking at occupation. The Allen Cognitive Disabilities model is looking at why are they like this, and both of them talk about performance, which was a similarity between the two. So I feel as though in the community, if I actually had this condition, if I had a patient with this condition, I could put people with this condition in a group in OT, and they could cook together. They could be motivated to bake meals that they liked to make, so that would incorporate MOHO and their volition to make the meal. And we could give them their Allen Cognitive Level score. I gave myself a Allen Cognitive Level 5 because it was just low enough that I was cognitively disabled, but not enough that I couldn't be an OT student. So that's why I chose that model for it. A way that I would make this assignment even better for students in the future is have them look up a famous celebrity with their condition. So if I looked up someone with right-sided hemianopsia or short-term memory loss, that would be an interesting perspective to put a face to a name for this assignment. And that's it. Thank you.